Oh, yeah, we're live streaming now, so everything's good.
Chair, I still can't hear you.
Good.
You are showing the mute sign now, Denise. I think you might be able to click on it to come off.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Did you hear anything at all?
No,
Okay.
that's good.
Okay. We'll whisk through it all again. Any apologies for absence, Ben?
I've had apologies from Roger Marsh and Councillor Hayden.
Okay, thank you for that. Any declaration of interest? Exempt information, exclusion of public and press, and then the minutes of the meeting on the 4th of March. Can we all agree those?
Great.
Okay, thank you very much. And then the capital programme update, Melanie.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So just to give you an update in terms of the implementation of the capital programme, but also the forecast that we have for the capital programme for the next 3 years and the expected turnout that we have for 2021. So just in terms of the next 3 years, we reported to Combined Authority in February with a forecast that's set out at Table 1. So this current year that we're in now, that has just started, we're looking at 382 million spend, and then we've got 447 the following year and 348. So we've obviously got some big volumes to come through in terms of projects that will deliver spend in those particular years, and this may increase further with other funds that we're expecting to come through as well. And just to look back at where we were in the year that's just gone, in the Q3 actuals, there was some Q4 sort of first half actuals and then a forecast up to year end. So we were forecasting 92% spend across all of our programmes against target. So approximately 300 million this year. We said we had a lot to do in Q4, and certainly we've been making those approvals and claims have been coming through. We've got about 6 weeks now to close the accounts down, and obviously we'll come and report back in terms of the actual figures. It's probably worth just noting on Transport Fund that while some programmes are remaining against the forecast, there's been some projects that have gone down slightly on spend and others that have gone up. So for example, the adverse weather that we had in the new year and from January onwards have caused some problems to our big schemes that were on site. So ELAW, for example, East Leeds Orbital route, is slightly behind on spend, but they're in contract. They're going to spend it this financial year, but it does mean that some of the figures are just fluctuating a little bit, some going up, some going down. We've been able to accelerate the corridor improvement programme, so some of that spend has increased in last year, and the majority of that will then come through in this year. We've also got the Transforming Cities Fund, where projects are now mobilising, and the majority of those are coming forward for decisions through the assurance process. And we've got a number of those that we do expect to commence on site in this current year. So again, there'll be spend that comes through, and there'll be approvals for your attention as we go through the year. Also, Getting Building Fund. If you recall, this is the programme that government announced at quite short notice last summer to encourage what they called shovel-ready schemes to come forward. And most of those now have come through to you for approvals. There's a number set out there. So Temple Green Park and Ride Extension, the Business Growth Programme, Bradford City Village Phase 1, and Leeds City Centre Greater Green. There's also another Getting Building Fund item on the agenda today, and the next item as well. We've set out at table 3 all of the 15 schemes that are in that programme. And then we've also just mentioned, obviously, Growth Deal finished last financial year. We've been told that we can spend into April if we're contractually committed. So there is a little bit of spend that will fall into this month that will still be claimed against that programme. And then we've got other funding programmes that are on track as well. So we've got Leeds Public Transport Investment Programme, LIPTIP, that we reported last time round. We've also got other capital programmes like Integrated Transport Block, Highways Maintenance, and the Brownfield Housing Fund that are continuing. So we gave reports last time on that, but we'll give you regular updates as we go through the next financial year on that one. But happy to take any questions, Chair, if people require further comment or clarification.
Okay, thanks for that, Melanie. Any questions? Anyone want any clarification? Are we all happy with that? Okay, thanks very much. Agenda item 6.
Yes, thank you.
Approval.
Yeah, so on this one, we've got 2 projects to consider, but I also just wanted to bring to your attention at paragraph 4.21, there was an approval at a previous investment committee in March for the first of our Brownfield Housing Fund schemes coming through that programme, and it was the Points Cross scheme, Hunslet Road, that's being delivered by the Guinness Partnership. So this is a housing scheme, and in the recommendations of that meeting, we said that we wanted to enter into a legal agreement with Guinness Developments Limited. We just want to amend that approval. So we're asking at 4.2 if Investment Committee can approve that we enter into a funding agreement with Guinness Partnership for the Points Cross scheme for expenditure of up to 2.755 million from the Brownfield Housing Fund. So just a point of clarification, Chair, and we'd like to ask Investment Committee to approve that amendment for the legal documents.
Thanks, Melanie. I think we all remember the scheme coming forward. Are we all happy for the amendment? I think that's fine, Melanie. Thank you very much. That's agreed.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So the first project that we're considering today is Murfield to Dewsbury to Leeds, so M2D2L, and Caroline Coy is going to just give us the overview of this scheme and take us through it.
Hi, yes. Hi, good morning, Councillor Denise.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi. So the Murfield Dewsbury to Leeds scheme is a corridor scheme that forms a key route through the heart of West Yorkshire, and it serves a direct catchment area of around 600,000 residents, as well as several existing and planned major employment areas, retail and housing sites. The significant sections of this route, so the A644, the A638 and the A653, are congested during the morning and afternoon peaks, and often also within the interpeak periods too, which also leads to poor bus service reliability and journey time along that entire corridor. The M2D2L scheme, which is a shortened version of the scheme, also includes a major and side road junction upgrades, pedestrian crossings, footways, bus lanes, cycle tracks, and also highway space reallocation to address the current gap in the realisation of cohesive multimodal corridor. And that supports the region's economic, environmental and health ambitions too. The M2D2L is funded from the Transport Fund, with a small amount of funding coming from the Section 106 monies and also the Emergency Active Travel Tranche 2 funds. The proposed M2D2L scheme provides a series of transport interventions along the public highway, improvements to walking and cycling and general travel opportunities, the bus reliability and the local environment. The scheme's value for money assessment reflects a benefit cost ratio of 7.94 to 1, which represents a very high value for money. The M2D2L core objectives are to enhance and access to public transport and encourage modal shift and provide a more sustainable mode of travelling. It will also lower the amount of harmful CO2 and nitrogen oxide emissions too. The cost of the scheme, so the total forecast scheme costs at outline business case, decision point 3, is 13.150 million. The CA's transport fund contribution is 12.5 million, so a further 0.50 million from the emergency active travel fund and 0.5 million from the section 106 monies. The scheme is also looking to explore further opportunity to increase the scope for further improvements to junctions subject to securing additional funding during FBC. Additional development costs of 0.735 million is sought at OBC, decision point 3, to progress the scheme to FBC, taking the total development costs through to 1.270 million from the Transport Fund. So the decision I'm looking for today is that the Investment Committee approves that the M2D2L scheme proceeds through decision point 3 and work commences on activity 4 full business case. An indicative approval to 12.5 million is given from the Transport Fund, which towards a total scheme cost of 13.150 million. Additional development costs of 0.73 million is approved to progress the scheme to decision point 4. The CA enters into an addendum with the Kirklees Council for the expenditure of up to 0.735 million. And to make sure that all future approvals are made in accordance with the assurance pathway that is outlined in this report. And also just to confirm that in the report, the FBC, it does say that the submission date for this is October 2021. The actual submission date is January 2022. The report had actually been finalised before this date was able to be updated. So just to confirm that. Thank you.
Thanks very much. I think we have a comment from Kim.
Yeah, just really welcome this scheme from a public transport point of view, but from a modal shift across 2 districts. And I have to say, I think that's the best BCR I've seen in the 2.5 years that I've been down there. So a great value for money from the public purse.
Thank you. Peter.
Yeah, this is much appreciated. It's a very congested part of Kirklees, goes all the way from Murfield to Leeds. There's not a great deal you can do to massively improve this road, but there's interventions all along which can make for minor improvement. This is the sort of road that's busy and blocked at lunchtime, and that's normal. It's a really difficult road, so any help on here will be of great benefit. But additionally, we need some development to take demand off this road. So thus the North Kirklees Orbital route, which is proposed.
Okay, thanks for that, Peter. Are we all happy with the report?
Great.
Thanks very much. That's great.
Thank you,
Caroline. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one is the Bradford scheme. Who's dealing with this?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm going to ask Sarah Brooke to come in to introduce this scheme. And just to let members know, I've also got Rob Tranmer on the line, who is our programme manager for Getting Building Fund. So if there's any questions around the programme, Rob will be able to answer. And Sarah's just going to take us through the details of the project. Thanks, Sarah.
Okay.
Good morning.
Hi, Sarah. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. So Parry Lane in Bradford is part of the Phase 2 Enterprise Zone programme. The site is well connected for transport links, however it suffers from high costs of development, making it unviable to bring forward without public sector intervention. Funded by the Local Growth Deal and Getting Building Fund, the project will remediate the brownfield site, making it viable for future commercial development. There is a shortage of modern commercial floor space in Bradford. Therefore, this site has the potential to create jobs and contribute to economic growth. As a result of the works, the scheme will deliver 69 construction jobs and £14 million in GVA, but it will facilitate future commercial development capable of generating up to 489 jobs and 166 million in GVA. The scheme will also deliver wider benefits such as local highways improvements, business rate income from the public sector, investment in local biodiversity, and provide a catalyst for further investment in the area. The contractor, Balfour Beatty, has committed to investing in the local community in terms of volunteering for our schools, local colleges, and local groups. In terms of cost, the total scheme cost is 8.35 million, of which 1.88 million is from the local growth deal fund and is already spent. The remaining 6.37 million is allocated from the Getting Building Fund. Bradford will contribute 0.097 million. Therefore, the cost to the CA is 8.259 million. The costs of the project have increased by 1.2 million since the full business case was approved in January 2021. The increase is due to the significant costs and risk allowances required to remediate the extensive coal and iron ore seams, the adits and the mine shafts. The increase in GBF funding required for Parry Lane can be accommodated by a reduction in forecasted spend at Langthwaite Enterprise Zone. Today, we seek the following approvals from the Investment Committee: to proceed through decision point 5 and work commence on delivery, approval of the combined authority contribution of 8.259 million, and for the CA to enter into a funding agreement with Bradford Council for a value of up to £250,000 for highways and biodiversity works. And that's a summary of the scheme at Parry Lane.
Okay, Sarah, thank you very much. Any comments? Alex, do you want to comment?
Yeah, I can do, Chair. Thank you. Obviously pleased to see the scheme come ahead. I know we've had a few of the enterprise zones move forward, so it's good to see this one come forward. We know there's a need for employment space across the district, across the region as well, actually. That's why we have the enterprise zones. It's something any business in Bradford that wants to expand will tell you is finding that suitable land is a challenge, and therefore this is why we target funding at these brownfield sites to try and deliver them and bring them into worthwhile use. So pleased to see it come forward, Chair.
Okay, thank you for that. Any comments? Anyone want to ask Rob anything? Kim?
I was just going to ask if there's a transport link, or probably a bit late now, but any room for a park and ride?
It's a bit tight for space on there, I'm afraid. The highways works we're doing, we're putting an access road through, putting in 2 junctions and a pedestrian crossing, because it's close to Sticker Lane, which is a pretty busy road already. So we've put in a pedestrian crossing in there. It is good for public transport links. So I think as part of the outline planning, there would be a push that for future occupiers to encourage any employees to use public transport to get there.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, if there's no further questions, can we agree the report?
Great.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Sarah.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. And we have another Bradford scheme now. Who's doing this, Melanie?
Yeah, so the other schemes that are listed here are schemes that were delegated decisions to officers.
Yes.
So you've seen them previously, but they're just to note that we've seen them come through now for further approval. And also, as we reported last time, there's a number of schemes, particularly in Grossdeal, that are coming through with formal closure reports. And again, just to report where those have come back through to officers.
Yeah, okay. Are we all happy with that? We've all looked at the scheme. Okay, thanks very much. And that brings us to the end of the meeting. Very short and sweet, but we need to move business on and get things going. So take care, everyone, and see you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.